tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to create a application. Okay, this application is very special because we're going to use the dependency injection in our application as an extra component. So we're going to use a lot of interesting concepts like that we have learned in my previous lecture videos, like repository, view model, like data, retrofit, all the Android architecture components will be implemented here. uh, Obviously we're going to also use this extra component that we have learned is the dependency injection from framework to make our application looks much better. Okay, so I'm in this demonstration application. It's about a post app. We're going to use this sample API, that is a JSON placeholder, this typecode.com with post. So it will have a list of posts. Then we're going to display it in the recycle view, and from the web page. Okay, so we'll be displaying it on the screen. Okay, so the interesting thing is we are gonna use this we'll do this application with using the dependency injection. Okay, so in order to achieve that, we will need a network component that is responsible for downloading and parsing the JSON file, a repository that accesses the data from the API layer, a view model instance that accesses the repository, the activity with the recycle view that displays the list of posts, right? So and okay, let's not waste the time and let's go right on to the implementation. So first we create the activity. Actually I have already created the activity. So the activity will have a pretty simple recycle view. Okay, that's it. And okay, so now let's go and do it step by step. So what it has said is first create the activity. So now add API packages where your API calls are stored. So let me create an API package. Okay, and here I will be storing all the necessary API classes responsible for the API calls, right? So first thing is I'm gonna create a data class, which is pretty much will represent the response object, right? So it is called post. So obviously, so because our API is going to return the post, so here what we're going to do is we're going to use the post will be the ID is a long where user ID will also be long, title is also string, we'll have body, that is a string. Okay, so this will be our representing our JSON field, JSON, and we will be using our okay, so guys, first of all let me go to my Gradle, not this Gradle but the application Gradle, build dot Gradle, the app, not the package Gradle. Okay, so guys, be careful about adding all the dependencies. Okay, implementing all the dependencies. So what I'm gonna use here, I'm gonna use the all the necessary dependencies like view model, live data, so we're gonna also use the dependencies like where is my retrofit? Yeah, retrofit library with the I'm using the serializer called Mosi converter for retrofit. So that's the converter, JSON converter that I'm using. So for, as you can see here, I'm using a field, okay, name. So field JSON. So what I'm gonna use is yeah, this is the name will be our user ID. Field sorry guys, it's a field JSON name will be my title. Okay, and field JSON name will be my body. Okay, so this is my necessary declaration of my response object. Okay, And what else, I'm going to also need a API service class, which is okay, let me click here. I'm gonna create post service class, which is obviously our interface, and here it will be having all the necessary methods that we're gonna call, API methods that we're gonna call, right? We're gonna call this post function get the posts, and then display the necessary post in our recycle view. So we're gonna call using our retrofit, then we're gonna our retrofit is gonna return the list of posts. Okay, yeah, so this is it. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the necessary okay, so here we're gonna use the Hilt, so we're gonna use the necessary define the necessary modules, right? So let me define our network module. So this network module will be providing our provide retrofit. Okay, it will be providing a retrofit. Okay, it will be returning our retrofit builder. Okay, with our base URL will be https json placeholder typecode.com/. Okay, then we have a add converter factory, which be our MOSI converter factory. Okay, so this we're gonna use this one for our simplicity. Okay, obviously we're gonna use our annotation, that is our provides annotation. We're gonna also use our annotation of a module and installs in with the necessary component is our singleton component provided by our Hilt, right? Already the pre-built component provided by Hilt, right? So we also have another singleton, so this is actually a singleton. Okay, so we annotate it with the singleton. So we also need another method that is provide post service class with the retrofit that returns the post service, and it's a retrofit dot create our service is a post service class.java. Okay, you can also annotate it, but also not service or not required. Okay, as you can see, it's like not so necessary. And obviously we need our necessary provides annotation for dagger. No, let's see, it's a Hilt, so yeah, obviously. Okay, so it's a Hilt, guys. Okay, so we are not using dagger 2 anymore because Hilt has less boilerplate codes for our setup, then the dagger 2 has a lot of boilerplate. Okay, so we are going to avoid dagger 2 for our dependency injection. We will be always following with the, so I suggest you guys always use the Hilt dependency injection, okay, because it has less boilerplate code. Okay, so I'm also for my demonstration I'm using Hilt. Okay, and what next? Now we're gonna go to my readme and see create a repository package. Okay, so our API package, we have done the necessary setup, like created necessary classes for API packages, and now we are gonna create another package which is called repository package. So this repository package will obviously have our repository called post repository, which is obviously our interface, and this post repository interface will have our necessary method that gets the posts, right? So it is gonna obviously return the live data of a list of post Okay, and then we will also need another class for our for implementing our post repository implementation class, which is gonna implement our post repository class, and we're gonna obviously implement our members. Our member is get post, so this post is gonna be get returned. Okay, so our post repository implementation will have our the dependency like our constructor parameter as a post service. Okay, so we're gonna return a result that is our mutable live data, which is a list of post. Okay, and obviously it's gonna okay, obviously it's gonna return the result. Okay, so the result is called post service get posts in queue, and we are gonna get the object of a callback list of post. Okay, so here we have to override our methods that are two. Sorry guys, we have to override our methods. Extension function in queue. In queue, your object callback a list of posts. Okay, let me see and check if everything is all right. So here okay, let me just check a bit. We are enqueuing the object, right? Then we have a callback. Okay, I'm just I just imported a wrong callback. The callback that we have to add is the retrofit callback. Okay, not the another callback. So we have to implement the all those both method on failure and response when you call your API. So it can go on failure or success, right? On failure, on success. So if it is successful, the response is successful, then we're gonna post the result, right? Our result post value with the response body. Otherwise we are gonna not do anything. So if you have a failure, you don't do anything. So we actually we don't do the error handling here. Error handling later. Okay, so on failure. And okay, so now we have done for our repository, we have created our post repository and post repository implementation. Then also we need to create our repository module. Okay, in our repository module class, so now we have to just define annotate with module, and obviously installs in with our component is a singleton component a predefined component provided by Hilt. Okay, and what it does is provides the provide post repository. So post service post repository. Okay, so it returns the post repository implementation. Post service provides okay, obviously it's a singleton. Okay, so yeah, we also have our necessary modules for our repository. We have then what next? Let's go to our steps. okay, we have defined the repository interface for one with one method return like that. Okay, so we have done that. We have created the implementation of a repository class. We have, okay, now let's create a view model instance to call the repository to retrieve the data. So let me create my view model. So here I'm gonna create a class called post view model. Okay, so this post view model will be obviously in like extending the view model super class, and then here it will have one method get post. Obviously it's gonna use the repository, right? So but let me just define what is gonna return. The return is obviously it's a list of post. Okay, it's obviously we will have the, we'll need a private val post repository post repository. Okay, so this post repository will have a Hilt view model, will be annotated with Hilt view model, and it will be injecting the dependencies, right, as a constructor. Okay, and then I'm gonna use this post repository to get the post. All right, okay, so here we are. We have also created our post view model to call the repository and retrieve the data. So now we have to create the adapter for a row of the UI. Okay, so our adapter class is already created here. It just has a simple layout, item layout is called view post row, which is pretty simple. It's like some text view, as you can see here. Let me show the design. It's a simple text view, like two text view, a title and the body, right? And the adapter, it doesn't do it just gets the item and just bind the view with the value, right, the post value. So and then okay, so now let's create the activity that will render the UI. Okay, the activity to render the UI. So this is my normal activity that I have already created, but I will have to attach my first I need to get my post view model. Like I have to get my piece by view model, view models. Okay, so I have the dependency, then I have okay, I also need my adapter, private let interval adapter, post adapter. So this will be instantiated adapter. Okay, post adapter layout from this context and recycler view. Fine. So our, okay, let me, I have already used the binding, so I don't need that. I have the with binding. Okay, recycle view dot adapter will be assigned to this adapter, and let me rename this as a post adapter so that we can have the clear understanding. Post adapter. Okay, so then what next is our activity recycle view. The layout will be our linear layout manager, passing this context. Okay, and so now we're gonna use our view model, post view model. So we can do it also outside post view model. We're gonna get the post, observe this value, the list of value, and update our post adapter, and update our post with the the value that we get, right? So this is it. This is our setting, rendering the UI in the activity. So now we have to set up the Hilt module that will initialize the net. Okay, so we have already set up our Hilt module that will initialize the network related dependencies. That is a network module. This is like we have initialized our Hilt module for getting our network dependencies, right? That will initialize the network dependency, and we also create a Hilt module that will be responsible for defining the dependency required for the activity. uh, uh, okay, we have also actually set up the Hilt module for our repository, as you can see here. So now finally, okay, so let's go to our let's create application class which is called posts application class. So which will be extending our post application, and obviously we need to also define our necessary Hilt annotate with Hilt Android app. Okay, obviously this application will be also added to our your manifest, like it's called post application. And finally you also need to go to your post activity and add your entry point, right? Your Android entry point. Okay, so this is it, right? This is the necessary setup for your Hilt. And then let's go and run our application and see if everything is working fine. Activity post binding. What is happening here? We are having a problem here. Capped debug Kotlin. Okay, so what's happening here? Activity posts binding. Okay, let me go to my accessing view data binding. Okay, let's go and clean the project, guys. And let's rerun it again. Same compilation unit. Okay, actually we have two application lights, right? Hilt application and post application. So what are we gonna do? Hilt application class. I'm gonna just disable this annotation, and this was actually from my previous tutorial, so I'm gonna clean this again and rebuild the application again now. So there was having a conflict because I declared in the same app two times, like Hilt Android app, right? So you cannot do it twice actually, guys, so be careful, guys. So you just need to for your application just annotate the Hilt Android application only once, right? Okay, now everything is working fine, and here we have our application working pretty fine with the necessary uh, like yeah, it's responding with the proper like text views, right? And working pretty fine. So let me go to my okay, I have added a title style and I will run the apply it again. Okay, you see I have now the also the titles is pretty much differentiated. So this is the title and this is the body. Okay, so yeah, everything is working pretty fine. And yeah, so this is the simple application or demonstration application of how to use the dependency injection using Hilt. Okay, and uh, so hope everything is all right with you guys. If you have any questions, just please do write me a comment, and please do subscribe me so that it will help me to create more and more cool amazing Android tutorials or compose tutorials or Kotlin multi-platform tutorials or any tutorials that you want. Okay, so just write me down. Thank you guys.